What is going on, Phillies fans? Welcome in the Fighting's final here on Edge of Phillies Sports. Uh, not the kind of game you thought coming into a really depleted team. So they were 16 and 33 coming in, 17 and 33 now. Rockies win in extra innings in 11th inning. Just not a great outing for the Phillies at all offensively. Pitching for the most part was good up until the end. This was a bit of a snooze fest, to be honest with you, when it comes to excitement in baseball. All the way up until the ninth inning when things started to unravel for the Phillies. They just couldn't string some things together. Some errors made here. It's just not a pretty game. Listen, I'm not gonna get upset. It's 37-15. They're 37 and 15. They lost. They're not gonna win all the games. You would just thought maybe this is the kind of game that they can easily come in and win. Really weird way to start off. Bryce Harper was in the lineup for the first he hit one at bat, and he was ejected after that. So we'll talk about that a little bit tonight. For the most part, pitching was pretty good outside of the Alvarado blown save tonight. And then Gregory Soto at the end here. But the offense for the Phillies really was the story of the game. Runners in scoring position continues to be a problem. But I want to thank you guys for joining with me tonight. I know it's a Friday night. I know it's a holiday weekend. People probably driving down the shore or just getting down there or whatever it is. It's 11:30 at night, and it's not the way you want to kind of end a game like this. I tweeted out about moments before it all went down that this felt like a game that nobody wanted to win for a while. Now you got the Rockies out there celebrating like they just won the World Series, but I guess you got to take every victory that you can get when you're only have 17 on the season and you beat the best team in baseball. So I guess you'll take your victories. It's just now you have to respond. I know you just traveled. You just played yesterday. You traveled out to Colorado. It's thinner air, whatever other excuse you want to throw out there. But you got to overcome one of these losses here. You got to sweep this one under the rug, move on with it, and just look forward to the next games. It was sad that Christopher Sanchez start one. It didn't go as deep as you thought he would. Didn't throw as many pitches, but they pulled the plug on him pretty quickly. But it was Alvarado with his first blown save of the season, and first really big hiccup from the Phillies pitching in a while. So I'm not going to sit here and pound on them about it. But these are the kind of games you need to win, especially when you have like the Braves losing tonight, which we'll talk about that in a little bit too as well. But some of the big stories tonight we'll go over in a little bit in the Broad Street bottom line. But Bryce Harper being ejected, it's going to be probably the biggest point of this game today. First inning, Schwarber grounds out the first. Realmuto grounds out to the pitcher. Realmuto grounds out to first. Bryce Harper not liking the calls. The ump was one of the umps from last week who was struggling with us, with the strike zone moving all over the place. So maybe that was a little frustration coming in. He throws his helmet down. He gets thrown a fine right away for the helmet throw. But him being ejected, and if you're probably a Rockies fan, tuning in, or any other fan, who's not a Phillies fan or a Bryce Harper fan, you're probably gonna say, "Oh, here's his homer outtake," and maybe even Matty B, being the umpy is, I'm sure he's going to probably give me a hard time about it. But he was talking to him. I don't know what was being said, unless he said something in a really derogatory thing in a really polite looking fashion, because we couldn't hear what he was saying. But he was talking to him. He was asking him, and he threw him out quickly. He got the fine. He didn't complain about that. He just didn't like what and he was talking to him about it. And the ump just, pulled the trigger, which was, it's odd. It's odd to throw a guy out that quickly. So I'm sorry. Like, if there was the other way around, I'd probably be like, I'd probably laugh a little bit more about it, not be as upset about it. But at the same time, I'd be like, it's kind of like, it's like when a ball's called a strike, or for when it helps your team out. I'm not gonna get upset about it, but I know what happened there, and what happened there was kind of BS. I don't know if that ump was it bleeding over from the last time he was in town, and they were on top of him about it, and he had a short fuse, and between the spike in the helmet, and then Harper continued to talk to him about it, just didn't sit well with him. I don't know, but he had a little very very short fuse tonight, hair trigger, whatever you want to call it. But pulled that trigger, tossed Harper, kind of set the tone for the game after that with that move. But that was that was a really odd. Like I said, I've seen guys get thrown out. They were talking about the broadcast. I remember last year when Strom and the other pitcher got thrown, or the opposing pitcher got thrown out because they were staring at each other before the game even started. I remember that. They were talking about it on the broadcast, but like I said, you throw them a warning, whatever it is. You fine them for the spike of the helmet. You listen. Don't keep questioning me, or you're going to get thrown out. First at bat. I don't know. I think that's something that has to build up, unless something egregious happens. Like if something was egregiously said, he should have been tossed. But I don't know. It just didn't seem from the body language that he wasn't like dropping some expletives or anything like that. But it was outlandish. It was outlandish. They had a chance to win the game. Big money guys didn't come through. Yeah, Andrew. Not just the big money guys. Like just not at all. Like they had like 2 really good hits. The rest of the hits were scattered out. This just wasn't a good night swinging for them at all for the Phillies for the most part. We'll get into all that in a moment, but just not really a great night at the plate for most of the Phillies. A couple scattered hits. One other thing is JT extends his hitting streak. If one a little positive out of there, 14 games. Take a positive. We are got to take the positives when you come look at this thing. We still have the best record. Ring the bell. Yeah, Eagles fan, we do still have the best record. That is true. And like I said, I'm not going to get upset about this. I'm not going to sit here and blast them about it. Excuses can be made. Like I said, they just played yesterday, traveled from CBP in Philadelphia here out to Colorado. The hair's thinner and whatever else thing you want to talk about Colorado. So just wasn't their night. And if this was a better team, they probably wouldn't even win extra innings. I don't know. Not sure. Maybe they looked past them a little bit. Maybe I don't know. I hope that's not what it is. You just sweep the defending world champions. The only thing I don't like this is a little reminiscent of the Phillies that we've seen in the past. Like go and beat the best team, sweep the best team or the defending champions, and then come out and lose a game to one of the worst teams in the league. I hope that's it. Just this one game, go and win the series. Like I said, it's we can make some excuses. The ump, the behind the plate for the ump, not the greatest night all the time. At the end of the game, when JT was called for when he struck out, I'm sorry, he grounded out to first base in the 10th inning when there should have been a 3-1 call instead of a 2-2. It is what it is. Those are things that if it went the other way around, I'd be okay with it. So these are those nights. That's what baseball is. You're not going undefeated. It's not going to happen. Like you're saying here, Eagles fans, still best record in baseball. You got to sweep this one off and move past it. But just not a great night. Not a great exciting game either. You stay up late. It's a late night West Coast-ish trip. An 8:40 start on a Friday night, and you're going to sit up and watch this. It's not the kind of game you want to do. Rojas is going to be able to get that bunt down 100%. That man, I've been a big defender of Johan Rojas, but getting the bunt down has to happen. Without a doubt. And he needs to clean that up. Or he, with the way Cody Clemens playing outside of that errant throw, he threw it, almost cost him the game, but didn't. He was able to get a single on his pitch hit, keep this game alive. But Schwarber, he came up small again in this moment. So that's another thing, kind of keep our eye on. Like we need to look at these things. It looks like in some areas that Topper has a short leash in some people, but doesn't have a short leash in others. So, I mean, I know you're not going to pinch hit for Kyle Schwarber all the time or much at all, but, I don't know. This is a few times now he's been in opportunities to fix this situation and to win the game for him or give him a lead, and kind of came up small. So, that's kind of the things we got to look at. Again, not going to get upset about this game. A little bit of a clunker type game, a little bit of a snoozer. Hopefully they go back to hotel rooms, go get some rest, get up again, and do it again tomorrow. And just like I said, sweep this one under the rug and be done with it. Guys, I want to remind you this is brought to you by the Streetlight Kitchen and Bar at the Holiday Inn and Suites at Drexel Brook Event Center. 5400 Fern Boulevard, Drexel Hill. That's in the Holiday Inn and Suites at the Drexelbrook Event Center. So check them out. You can call them 484-461-9823 to get a rezo for either breakfast, brunch. They have brunch Saturday and Sundays. Great happy hours, dinner, drinks. They have an outside patio. It's beautiful. They have the fires for when the nights are a little cooler, an outside bar, an outside TV. This would have been a great night to be out there watching the game and enjoying the Streetlight Kitchen and Bar at 5400 Fern Boulevard. Go to the Streetlight, streetlightdrexelhill.com to check it all out. Breakfast, brunch, happy hour, dinner, drinks. Check out the menu. It is delicious. It is a great place. You got to check it out. Go to the Streetlight Kitchen and Bar in Drexel Hill right away. Let's see another comment here. Marsh, can we please take the training wheels off this man? Yeah, I mean, listen, I get it. I don't know, left-handed pitcher. It's one little area I'm a little annoyed with. Not every manager is going to do everything that we want them to do, but I agree. I agree that he should have started tonight. I mean, even though he had a chance to come up and he came out and struck out, but maybe he played all game. But at the same time, he pitched it for Sosa. But you have, like I said, you have Pache starting, and he's been hitting well too. I don't know. I just think Marsh should have been playing tonight. I think Marsh should be playing almost every night. There should really be no reason for Marsh to play. So that's where I'm going to question. One of the few things I'm going to question right now about Topper is just let the man play. If he starts slumping, then you pull him. I don't get it. He isn't effective as a pinch hitter. No, I mean, it's not his forte, but at the same time, there's going to be times he's going to be called to do it, but I just don't get why he's not playing every night, Andrew. Let's go through, since it wasn't anything magical, we'll cut through it real quick. Let's go through the lineup. Kyle Schwarber, like I said, he was 1 for 5 tonight with a strikeout. Realmuto was 2 for 5 tonight. Harper, of course, he was 0 for, he was a 1 strikeout. That was it before he was ejected in the first inning. And then Rojas took over and was 0 for 4 in his position with a strikeout. Boom. Just not a great night for him. 0 for 5 with a strikeout. Castellanos had a good night. Him and Sosa, looked like he was breathing a little life into this team, who only had one hit up until the 5th inning and then had a home run. Bryson Stott lined out to center field, and then Sosa backed him up with a home run. So, Castellanos 1 for 5 tonight with a run, the home run as we talked about, and the 1 RBI. Stott was 0 for 4, not a great night for him. Sosa 2 for 3, 1 run, 1 RBI, that home run I told you. Marsh was 0 for 1 with that strikeout, as we mentioned. Merrifield, he was 0 for 2 with 2 walks. Pache was 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Clemens came in to pitch hit and put a little bloop single, kept them alive. Unfortunately, Schwarber and JT weren't able to do much with it after that. And they would go with 39 at-bats, 2 runs, 7 hits, 2 RBIs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. I mean, that was the thing. They didn't strike out a lot. But they let Ty Block go deep, go deeper than they probably should have. I mean, he only went 6 2/3, but he didn't have a lot of pitches. They just, he started in the 7th inning, just kind of started letting up a couple. He let up a double and then walked a guy. He said, they pulled him, and that was their decision. So, but they didn't attack him well enough. Let's hit a couple more of these. Jeff said, "Oh well, can't win every game, but Realmuto / Alvarado should have got together before they pitched to Stallings because he came up there looking for that pitch." Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's. Jeff. I don't think that was what it was. I think by the look of Alvarado, it looked like he knew he kind of left it in the zone. That was not where the pitch was supposed to go. I don't think that was the plan. Throw it right down the middle and let him hit it now. I don't think it was a miscommunication between Realmuto and Alvarado. I think it was just it's one of those, if he missed it, he would want him back pitches. You know what I mean? It was, it didn't have any movement on it. It was just a frozen rope right down the center of the plate. And yeah, I don't think that was the game plan, to be honest with you. Jeff also saying, what's with the ump throwing Harper out? Do we have a touchy-feely umps? Yeah, like I said, I know he just umped behind the plate not too long ago at Citizens Bank Park and didn't have a great night umping, with his calls. And I know both teams that they were playing, the visiting team as well as the Phillies were on him, and maybe he came in here with a chip on his shoulder, and between the helmet tossed down and finding Harper for that and him asking more questions, just he had a hair trigger tonight. I disagree with it. And like I said, I know Matty B, he'd be here probably telling me, hey, the ump's the ump, and if he doesn't have to take it and blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, they should be able to talk about it. He should have thrown his helmet, but that's not disrespectful to the ump in my eyes. That's him being pissed off with just the course of events. It may be the ump's bad call, or may it be him not hitting well, whatever it is. So I disagree with that. And I think I see Matty's face popping up in my comments here, so I'll love to see what he has to say. Soto looked shaky again, and this man was a closer for the Tigers. Yeah, Andrew, when Soto pitches, I get nervous. He could be lights out one night, and what we see here this tonight. Can't throw and can't argue balls and strike. Can't throw equipment, can't argue balls and strike. Take a shower, Harper. Yeah, listen, man, I love you to death, Matty, but maybe being an ump, you're a little, it's called biased. I'm not disagreeing. You can't argue balls and strikes. You can't throw equipment. He got his fine for the equipment. And he was talking to him. Now, what was said, I'm going to say this. I don't know what was said. So if he said something egregious, then he deserved it. I'll agree with that. But just from the looks of it, he was talking to him. Even the way when he got thrown out, he's like, whoa, I was just talking to you. Like what's going on? I think they should be able to talk about it. There shouldn't be anything else. Because if a batter can learn from the mistakes and also learn if this guy's going to have a wide strike zone or if he's going to be all over the place tonight, and he's going to talk to him and ask him, like, maybe the ump kind of says, yeah, maybe it was a little close. And in a nice way saying, yeah, maybe I could have called it either way. I don't know. But I think you should be able to talk to him. How, it's okay to talk, to learn, to find out how's this guy calling the game. And if you're allowed to have a disagreement. I think that's the difference. If you argue like you're an idiot, that was way outside the zone. How did you call that? That's arguing. I agree. But if you're talking about it, that is a discussion. And there should be nothing wrong with a discussion. If we can criticize a batter for how he's batting or a pitcher for how he's pitching, and then they and the coaches can talk to them and all that stuff, then there should be no problem with him discussing this with him. If he said something out of line and disrespectful, okay. But the equipment throwing thing, he didn't throw it at him. He got fined for it. That should be it right there. And that quickly, that's a hair trigger. That's I don't want to say premeditated, but that he came in with a chip on his shoulder at that point. So that's why I'm going to push back on that one. Like, if he got thrown out, this was like, he's frustrated. He had a few bad at bats, even with the ump. Maybe the ump was not on his best game tonight, and he was frustrated. Made his third or fourth at bat. Okay, maybe. But that quickly, give him a warning. Like, listen, Harper. I called it what it was. That's what it was. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Just go back to the base. Go back to the dugout. That's it. And if he didn't do that and he didn't listen to him and he threw him out, okay. But I can't tell you the course of events that went that way. It didn't seem like to go that way. I don't know. I wasn't listening. They don't have him mic'd up. So what was said, I don't know. So I can only speculate. But if that's how it went down, the ump was wrong in this situation. I know you got to go to the defense for him. I know you're not going to argue balls and strikes, but you got to admit if it's something outlandish or egregious, it's hard to keep off of it. You gotta look at things both sides. You gotta look at this as the player, and you gotta look at your thing as the ump, and try to be as analytical as possible in this situation. But if things went down as it seemed to go down, it was a hair trigger and unnecessary. I'm gonna push back on that one a little bit. So let's get to that the pitching now for your Phillies, your Fightins. It's Christopher Sanchez. It's a good night overall. He let up 7 hits, but they were spread out, so it wasn't like too much back-to-back hits except for that the one RBI let up in the 5th inning. But he went 5 in the 3rd inning, 7 hits, 1 run, 1 earned, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Still looking good for our number 5 guy. 3.15 ERA. That slider's nasty. That's all. That's what it's about. Kerkering. He came in and relief of Sanchez and went 1 2/3 innings, only left the one hit. Hoffman, 1 inning, donuts across the board. Alvarado, that's where we're going to talk about this for a second. This is, first blown save of the year, but still a blown save nonetheless. But 1 inning, 2 hits, 1 run, 1 earned with 2 strikeouts and a home run, which was, he just walked up to the plate and blasted. Alvarado just left it right dead center, and the guy, he got a cookie and he took the cookie. And he dunked it right in the outfield for a home run. Jose Ruiz, looking pretty good. 1 inning, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. He pitched in the 10th inning. After the intentional walks, an errant throw from Cody Clemens. It's refreshing to see that, hey, we might have another option in that bullpen. Greg Soto, another one. He only went 1/3 inning, 1 hit. They had the 1 intentional walk, the 1 hit, 1 run, and 2 walks. One of them being intentional, and the strikeout. Greg Soto's a little bit of a, he's kind of an up and down guy. He's my Hector Neris. Make me Hector nervous. Greg Soto is right now. He went, and they pitched 10 1/3 innings, let up 11 hits through that time, 3 runs, 2 were earned, 1 walk, or 4 walks. I'm sorry, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts, and then 1 home run. And that is your pitching line tonight. Let's see. Maybe is coming back. What about Harper's hair trigger? Agreed. He threw his thing and he threw his helmet down in frustration. I agree. He got a fine. I'm not saying he shouldn't have got the fine for that. I'm not saying that at all. What transpired after that, from what we know or don't know, and like what it just looked like, it was a conversation. I can't say if he said any 4-letter words or cussed him out or whatever it was. Yeah, he was annoyed. He was frustrated. There's a difference between a hair trigger and being frustrated. He was frustrated. So I'm going to defend Harper in this one. And I know you're not surprised. You're going to call me a homer or whatever it is. But and I see your next comment. We'll bring it up. He does have a history with umps. Get it. He's a fiery guy. They were showing the clips tonight about him getting all fired up in Colorado, and they was tossed last year, I believe, because Bird, struck out the side, kind of overreacted, and the whole team kind of got upset. Harper was the first one to run out, threw him out. I get that. That makes total sense. Not going to argue that. And he has a history, but this is baseball, okay? And I'm sorry, a history should not. I understand how it works with refs and umps and everything, but this ump had a history recently of not having a great night. Okay, so in my eyes, he, he came in with the history as well as Harper. So it's got to go both ways. And he should have just erased that history instead of bringing it into the game and letting his frustrations boil over as quickly. As the ump, he should have been the more level-headed one. He should have warned him one time. Just stop talking about it. Go back to the dugout. And if he didn't, then you toss him. Like, you give him the warning. First inning, the third at bat, you don't do that. I'm sorry. You just don't do that, especially in the majors. I mean, people listen, if Rockies or Phillies, I'm a little annoyed. People come here to see Bryce Harper play, not see an ump toss him. That's what it is. I'm not saying you should get any special treatment, but from what I saw, didn't make any sense to me. So, again, I get your part and partialness to the umps, and I understand the rules like you do. And I'm trying to look at it on both sides, trying to be analytical. You said it today. My analysis was this. Was this the ump? A little bit of a hair trigger there, more than it should be. Balls and strikes calling has really gone downhill in the past several years. Yeah, I mean, that's baseball, man. I can't get it. At the end of the day, they still have 6 games on the Braves, so no harm, no foul. I know, and that's what I'm saying. I'm not getting up on this game or up on this team right now about this one game. They're not going to win every game. You just hope, they would be able to continue it. But it's all about the bounce back. Like, this game gets swept under the rug if they come back and win the next 2 and win the series. Okay, like, that's how I look at it. But it's it's the how it transpired. Like I said, it was a slow game, an honest game. Rojas was batting in the 3 hole. Just it wasn't pretty. It wasn't if you knew now what you were up against to watch, you're probably going to be like, I probably wouldn't have sat and watched this game if you were just a casual watcher. Yes, you do, especially in the majors. Yes, you do. Is that what you're saying? Like, toss a guy out or something? What do you mean? Yes, you do. Again, I'm not going to keep going back and forth on this. It's we're going to agree to disagree, I guess, in the long run of this one, like because um I just don't think it should have went down that way. I just don't think so. I don't think anybody should be tossed. I don't care if it was Bryce Harper or Johan Rojas. Okay, if it was the Rockies guy, like I said, I probably wouldn't be as upset about it or talking about it as much. But I would be like, that's kind of odd, kind of weird how that went down. So again, I 100% agree that if you throw your equipment down and then you continue and you disrespect the ump, then you get tossed. Okay, but unless I said I don't know what was said. If something was said, if we got the words or the verbiage or the script that was said, and we saw him say, okay, all right, that's a tossable offense. Fine, I understand that. But from what I know, from what I saw, don't feel like there was a tossable offense. I mean, you can't just go out tossing guys out because they're questioning you, because they're asking you questions. I just don't think you should be able to do that. That an ump should not be able to do that. Just like a player shouldn't be able to turn around and kick dirt on you and tell you to go pound, like and tell you stuff about your mother and your wife and use explicit 4-letter words. Shouldn't be able to be done, but it should be the other way around. Shouldn't be able just to toss a guy because either he has a history or because he was talking to you and he was questioning you. If it's a conversation, I don't believe it. If it's a conversation you don't want to have and you tell him, Harper, it's over, and you move on, and he goes, nah, man, I'm going to continue to talk about it, different story. But again, Andrew's saying, is Nola tomorrow? Yes, Nola is tomorrow, and he goes up against Dak Hudson. So Dak Hudson has a 1.7. He's 1-7 on the season with a 4.89 ERA. So let's hope this is a bounce back game. It's a little bit even a later game tomorrow, 9:10 Eastern Standard Time. So check that out as well. That's going to be a late night game. So hope we get a little bit more action. I want to stay up late to watch it. But speaking of tomorrow is Wiffle Ball Mania over at Dolan's, which we'll be there. We'll be broadcasting. So come on out. Come out, meet John Kruk. Come out, meet Mickey Morandini. They're going to be doing dingers for Dutch. It's for the Darren Dalton Foundation. All the proceeds go to the Darren Dalton Foundation where they do the dingers for Dutch. It is a great way to meet John Kruk, meet Mickey Morandini, play wiffle ball with some of our favorite Phillies heroes of the past. Guys, I've been there every year, and it's a fun time, and it's a really up close and personal way to hang out with guys that you might not have a chance to do normally. Come to Dolan's. They have food, they have drinks, it's an amazing time, amazing people that go there. It's funny, it's hilarious watching people. Mickey takes it super serious. It gets so funny. I want to see how like Mickey's seriousness with John Kruk's lackadaisical attitude should be pretty fun to watch. The combination of those two, Team Mickey versus Team Morandini. I know Garage Beer is also going to be there, so that's awesome. Really good beer if you haven't had it yet. So come on out, 24 East Sellers Avenue, Ridley Park. I believe it starts at 2, but get there a little early because you can maybe get to sign some stuff, sign up for it. Sign-ups come quickly, so come on out to Dolan's Barn, Ridley Park, 24 East Sellers, right off 95. So you're coming from Jersey, it's right off the bridge. If you're coming from 95 in the airport area or Wilmington, Delaware, it's minutes away. Like it's right there. So come on out, have a good time. Come say hi to us. We'll be there too as well. A bunch of EOP people will be there. It's a great time. Come to Dolan's. Go to Dolan's anytime, but tomorrow's the time you don't want to miss. Let's see. A couple more questions before we move on to the next part. Some umps are more patient than others. You know that, Al. I know. I get that. But, again, if a guy's impatient and throws a guy out, doesn't make it right. Like, this is an impatient guy. All right, well, that guy's impatient. We'll let him go. That doesn't make it right. I'm just saying it doesn't make it right. 9:30, right? Are you talking about the game tomorrow, Andrew? No, tomorrow is 9:10 start. It's a 9:10 start. So it's just 30 minutes later than tonight's start. So hopefully they don't go to extra innings again, because then you'll have a late show like this. So guys, let's jump on the old Broad Street bottom line here. Bottom line of this game is something I said a few times already, and somebody else said in the comments, you're not going to win them all. This is a game where, all right, you traveled, high altitudes, whatever excuses you want to throw out there. Maybe they look past this team because they're not a good team. Whatever the reasoning is, you got to bounce back from this. You got to come win. Now you got to go win the series. And usually they've been winning the first game of the series, so it gives them a little, relaxed feeling. But this is the first time they're not winning the first game of the series, and you just got done sweeping the defending champions, and you're 7 sweeps in already into May. So don't worry about the sweeps. Just go win the series now. And forget about this game. It'll be a blip on the radar within a week or two. Okay, and that's how you have to look at it. It was a very cold night at the bats for the Phillies. Outside of the 2 solo home runs, one from Castellanos, which is nice to see. That's 2 home runs in 2 games. So hopefully he's starting to get his swing back. Other than that, that's all he did. He struck out, and he had some other hits. Grounded out, flied out, and grounded out again. So Amundo Sosa continues to do well. Doesn't play for a game or 2 or whatever, or a few, and comes in. He has a home run. 2 batters after Castellanos' home run, he has a double in his next at bat. What you want to see from your bench players, need production from them. Championship teams are made where you're getting production up and down the lineup and off the bench, and all. That's just, and that's what's making this team really good right now. If it's at the bottom of the lineup, the top of the lineup, they're picking up for each other. If they're off the bench, they're picking up for each other. The starting rotation 1 through 5 is always giving you a chance to win. That's what you want. And for the most part, the bullpen's doing with it, except for tonight. So again, there's going to be clunkers games. There's going to be letdown moments. As long as you minimize, and that's what you got to minimize. It's a minimal thing right now. As long as it just doesn't become like, oh no, we're spiraling out of control, and they'll go on a 6-game losing streak and lose to bad teams. They have a little bit of a West Coast jaunt here, so it need jaunt. I said not John, jaunt. So they need to, kind of get themselves back and, go hit the pillows, hit the showers, hit the pillows, get some rest, wake up early, get to the park. You got to work that park out, man. It's a big outfield. The air's thinner. There's a change. I mean, I don't know how the Rockies aren't better sometimes. I feel like they have one of the best home field advantages when it comes to between the altitude from people coming from outside the area and how big it is. I feel like they should have a huge advantage. But that doesn't really seem to play in their favor just with the team that they build around themselves. But again, it's like we have to look past this one right now. The bats got to be better, for the most part. They're scoring. I think I looked at the other night. They're averaging almost 5.5 runs a game. So this is one of those games where they're below average. So let's see if they go average and above. So you got to see if they can knock the rust off. Maybe it was just a little travel, whatever it was. This is you got to put this away. Alvarado's got to put it away. He's got to not sit there and whine. Not that I'm saying he's going to whine about, but like just get past it. Go to sleep, close your eyes, have that short-term memory that baseball players, the athletes need. You just have the short-term memory. Got to forget about it. We know what he can do. Like I said, some of the best are going to have blown saves. It's just the way it is. But overall, like I said, it's not an exciting night. If you're a Rockies fan, you take your little victory and you beat the best team in baseball, and you can maybe think you can build off that. Wrong, but you're 37-15, still the best record in baseball. And we're going to get to the out-of-town scores because it might make you feel a little better. But like I said, my bottom line is you got to get past this one. And the other bottom line, it's good to see Mundo Sosa is continuing to produce when he can. So, and even guys like Cody Clemens came off there and got a nice bloop single. Use that big outfield to his advantage. Guys at the top of the lineup just need to produce a little better. And hopefully, guys like Bryce Harper don't get thrown out. and you don't lose them in your lineup. But that is my Broad Street bottom line. All right, guys. So let's like I said, part of the things that makes this night a little how we put it, a little easier to take. Yeah, little loss is easier to swallow. Again, because they're doing so well, one loss isn't going to be the end of it. This is the fourth loss of May, and we're on May 25th. I'll take that. But is the out of town scoreboard? It's gonna, so let's take a jog around the bases. All right, guys, let's look at the game still currently in progress, which is only 3 right now. The Yankees are up 8-0 in San Diego on the Padres. I know Juan Soto returned back, had a home run tonight. First time back in San Diego since leaving and as a Yankee. Cleveland is up 10-4 in Anaheim. They're the top of the 9th right now, so if everything stays the same, those two should have the wins. And then in the middle of the 9th inning, Houston is up 6-3 over Oakland in Oakland. And those are the 3 games going on. So if everything stays the same, they only have a few innings left for each game. Then it looks like the Yankees, Cleveland, and Houston will have a win tonight. But we'll see. Right now, games final. Toronto lost to Detroit in Detroit. Atlanta, they were down 10-1 at one point and ultimately lost to Pittsburgh 11-5. So that's why one of the reasons I was saying that makes tonight a little bit of an easier pill to swallow. Washington beat Seattle 6-1. Kansas City beat Tampa Bay 8-1. The Dodgers lost to Cincinnati 9-6. San Fran beat the Mets 8-7. Texas Rangers beat Minnesota. Lost to Minnesota 3-2. And I think, and Boston lost to Milwaukee 7-2. Chicago lost to Baltimore 6-4. And it looks like Arizona lost to Miami 3-0. And Chicago St. Louis was postponed today. So that game, I guess, is going to be rescheduled into a different time. So that is your out-of-town scoreboard, and that was our trip around the bases. And guys, I forgot to tell you, the Broad Street Bottom Line was brought to you by PhillySportsTrips.com. That's right. You can go out to Baltimore. Trips still available, guys. Some spots left on those buses. Very inexpensive. Great early Father's Day present as well. It's inexpensive. It's a one-day trip. You don't have to pack bags or anything for it. You get bus, food, drink, ticket. An amazing time. Go to PhillySportsTrips.com. Sign up for now. If you really want to treat dad or get out to Chicago for a couple days, watch the Phillies take on the Cubs at Wrigley Field. This is the way to do it. They're also going to PNC Park in July. They're coming up also with a trip to Boston as well, and they have all the away games for the Eagles all set up, and some other ones too. Some other great opportunities. Just go to PhillySportsTrips.com and just find the one or the trips that you want the most. PhillySportsTrips.com. Tell them EOP sent you. And the Round the Base is brought to you by David R. Cherry at cherryinjurylaw.com, 610-565-0300. Workers' comp, motor vehicle, personal injury, criminal law. Dave Cherry is the man with the plan to fight for your rights. 610-565-0300. Go to cherryinjurylaw.com for all your workers' comp, motor vehicle, personal injury, and criminal law needs. Whew. That's a lot. Dave's saying, I personally don't think Merrifield is working out the way we thought he would. I know it's still early in this season. Yeah, listen, I was a big proponent for Merrifield. I wanted him for a few years now. He's still a good player. I'm not really, I would like to see it, I'd like to see him play a little better. But, I mean, it's not terrible. I mean, he worked out 2 walks tonight. So, he's not getting big hits that we would hope. But he's not terrible coming off the bench. It's a little bit of a difference for him, too. I'm not sold on getting rid of him or anything like that, but has it been a little underwhelming? Sure, I'll agree with that, Dave. It just hasn't been the Whit Merrifield I was hoping to see. So, what are you going to do about that? Those are the things you can't do much about. But, guys, again, Aaron Nola takes the mound tomorrow. Hopefully this is just a blip on the radar. Get him back going. Get another W get another check mark in the win column. Move forward with it. I want to thank everybody for joining me tonight. I know it's a late night. I know it's a tough game to want to sit there and talk about afterwards. But I'm glad you guys were there with me to talk to me about it. Dave, everybody, Andrew, Matty B for even chiming in. Even when we disagree, we love each other. Me and Matty B. We talk to each other all the time. We're not going to always agree, but that's what it's about. That's why we talk about these things, guys. Other than that, again, tomorrow, guys, come on out. We're going to be at Dolan's, 24 East Sellers Avenue in Ridley Park. Wiffle Ball Mania. Mickey Morandini and John Kruk will be there. You should be there too. Guys, I'm not going to, I can only say it like I said before. It is an opportunity of opportunities to hang out with some of your former Phillies heroes, play wiffle ball with them. It's funny. It's a great time. The people at Dolan's that come out, we have a great time. So come on out, Wiffle Ball Mania at Dolan Spring Classic. We do it every year. You got to check it out. You really do if you haven't done it. Phillies need a reliable closer. Alvarado is not it, in my opinion. Kane, I mean, I agree. I would like to know if they could just name the closer. Maybe if he was named the closer, he would be a little better. And I think just this closer by committee thing, just something to be said when you know what you're doing every day. There just really is. So I'm not saying Alvarado isn't a closer, is not a closer, but maybe if he knew he was going to be the closer, it could be a difference, Kane. Could be. But other than that, guys, I want to thank you for joining me tonight. Hopefully to see you guys all at Dolan's tomorrow. Other than that, thank you. And check out EOPsports.com. Check out this lineup here. They just got done. The Steel Steps covered all the wrestling from the WWE to AEW and independent wrestling, especially around here in Philly. They covered all great guys, do great work. Check out all this Trending in the AM every Monday through Friday. And just the best morning show you can find anywhere. I don't care who you are. And all these great shows, they're podcasts. If you're missing, you can go on our YouTube page and check them out. Fighting's Fine will be back tomorrow. And I believe that is Sal on the call. He's going to have a late night. So you guys join Sal tomorrow night. And Matty B will be here on Sunday. I'm sure he'll have a lot to say about what I said tonight. So we'll check that all out. So, guys, again, thank you for joining us. Go to EOPsports.com. Check out all the great articles. And follow us. Subscribe to us on whatever platform you're watching. Listen, those little things go a long way for us. So I appreciate when you do that. The more you do, the more we can do for you. The more we can add production to this. The more we can add more coverage. All that kind of stuff. Check it out. Please sign up for the newsletter. Whatever you can do will help us, help you get better sports coverage here at Edge of Philly Sports. We appreciate you very so much. So, guys, check it out. Go get some rest, all you crazy kids out there, and we'll see you guys tomorrow, hopefully at Dolan's.